Imagine standing on a quiet beach just after sunrise. The ocean looks calm, almost sleepy. The waves roll in gently, the wind smells like salt, and nothing feels dangerous. Now imagine that somewhere far beyond the horizon, hundreds of kilometers away, the seafloor has just ripped itself apart. A massive earthquake has shifted entire tectonic plates in seconds, pushing billions of tons of water upward. You don't hear it. You don't feel it. But the ocean has just become a weapon. You're a surfer. You've chased the biggest waves on Earth. You've seen walls of water taller than buildings. You've survived wipeouts that felt like drowning in a washing machine. And now someone asks the unthinkable question. What if you tried to surf a tsunami? At first, the idea sounds insane. But then again, surfers chase danger for a living? Giant waves already exist, Nazar. Mavericks, Jaws. Some waves reach over 80 feet tall. Tsunamis are waves too, right? Bigger wave, bigger thrill. That's the dangerous misunderstanding that starts everything. Far out at sea, the tsunami doesn't look scary at all. In deep water, a tsunami wave might only be a meter high. Ships pass over them without noticing. You could be floating on a board above a tsunami and never know it's there. But that calm surface hides something terrifying. This wave isn't tall. It's long. Its wavelength can stretch hundreds of kilometers. The entire ocean is moving from the surface all the way down to the seafloor. As the tsunami races across the open ocean at speeds up to 800 kilometers per hour, faster than a jet airliner, it carries more energy than any surf wave ever could. You wouldn't outrun it. You wouldn't even see it. The only reason tsunamis become deadly is what happens next. As the wave approaches land, the ocean floor rises. The water has nowhere to go. The wave slows down, compresses, and all that energy piles up vertically. The ocean starts climbing itself. What was once invisible becomes a towering, stoppable wall of moving water. Now imagine you're there. The sea suddenly pulls back in an unnatural way. The shoreline stretches far out, exposing rocks and sea creatures that should never see daylight. This is your first real warning. Animals flee. Birds scatter. The ocean is inhaling somewhere in your mind. You know this isn't a surf wave. But curiosity and adrenaline take over. You paddle out anyway. The horizon begins to change. It's not a clean, curling line like a normal wave. It's wide. The sky itself seems to darken as the ocean rises. There's no perfect face, no smooth barrel forming. Just a massive surge rolling toward you like a moving continent. You turn your board and paddle. Immediately, something feels wrong. The water beneath you isn't lifting you into a wave face. It's dragging you forward. The current is overwhelming. Even elite paddlers wouldn't stand a chance. The water speed alone could rip the board from your hands. But let's say, somehow impossibly, you're already positioned perfectly. The wave reaches you. And instead of crashing like a normal breaker, the ocean simply rises. The sea level climbs tens of meters in seconds. You aren't surfing down a wave. You're being lifted upward by the ocean itself. There is no drop, no lip, no ride, and then comes the real danger. A tsunami isn't just one wave. It's a series of powerful surges. As the first wall of water rushes inland, it doesn't break cleanly. It bulldozes everything in its path. Buildings, cars, trees, ships, entire neighborhoods are torn apart and dragged along inside the water. If you're on that wave, you're no longer a surfer. You're debris. The water accelerates as it hits land, flowing faster than rivers, faster than floodwaters, faster than anything the human body can handle. Concrete walls collapse. Steel bends. Entire ships are lifted and carried inland like toys. Your surfboard is useless now. The turbulence is violent beyond imagination. This isn't a smooth wave face. It's a chaotic, churning mass filled with shattered wood, glass, vehicles, and fragments of buildings. One impact would be fatal. Even if you somehow avoided debris, the force of the water itself would slam you into the ground. Pinning you underwater, you try to breathe. But the water is thick with sediment, oil, chemicals, and debris. Visibility drops to zero. You don't know which way is up. The pressure crushes your chest. Every second feels longer than the last, and then just when it seems over, the water pulls back. This is the part almost no one talks about. As the tsunami retreats, it drags everything with it. Cars, houses, people, and entire city blocks are sucked back toward the ocean. The backwash can be just as deadly as the incoming wave, creating violent currents that pull victims offshore and slam them into obstacles. If you survived the initial surge, the return flow could finish the job. Even professional big wave surfers, people trained to handle wipeouts that last minutes, wouldn't stand a chance. Tsunami forces are measured in tons per square meter. The human body simply isn't built to resist that. And there's another terrifying truth. Tsunamis don't form surfable shapes because they're not caused by wind. Normal waves are shaped by wind energy acting on the ocean's surface. Tsunamis are displacement waves, created by sudden movement of the seafloor. That's why they behave more like floods than waves. There is no barrel. There is no face. There is no ride, only raw, unstoppable motion. In rare cases, tsunamis can create secondary waves that look surfable, especially in harbors or narrow bays where water funnels and rebounds. But even those are deadly. During real tsunami events, people who tried to ride or film the waves were often killed moments. Later by stronger surges they didn't see coming. The scariest part is that the first wave is often not the biggest. You might survive one surge only to be hit by another even more powerful minutes later. So what would actually happen if you tried to surf a tsunami? You wouldn't surf it. You wouldn't control it. You wouldn't outrun it. At best, you'd be lifted briefly before being violently thrown into chaos. At worst, you'd be crushed, drowned, or carried kilometers inland or out to sea. Tsunamis aren't waves meant to be conquered. They're reminders of how small